name is Shiv Singh. I'm head of digital for PepsiCo Beverages. So today I spoke on real-time marketing, and really at the heart of my message, or what I wanted to communicate, is that real-time marketing in many respects, certainly for lifestyle brands, is the future of marketing. And we have to go from strategy to execution, not in months, but more like in a matter of seconds. And that was my core message. The scenario I used, and it isn't actually an example, but it's more a future scenario, is imagine, I'm walking down Fifth Avenue and I see suddenly Lady Gaga walking towards me. Now, I'd be really excited, of course, but imagine if she had a Pepsi in her hand, incredibly valuable to me as a PepsiCo marketer. And then imagine if I take a photograph of her with that Pepsi in her hand, I send it back to a content or an engagement studio back at headquarters, and that's mashed up into an ad or some form of engagement that's then redistributed to tens of millions of people, especially and specifically the Lady Gaga fans around the world. And this all happens in a matter of minutes. Her association with Pepsi in a fun, natural, light way. That's real-time marketing. That's the future. This is just a hypothetical example. But the key thing is, I believe in the future, it'll benefit that celebrity, whichever the celebrity may be, to be in this form of engagement as much as it'll benefit the brand. Arguably, it needs to be the right brand. It can't be any old brand. I also think that I may not be walking down Fifth Avenue or every street of America every day, but increasingly our consumers, our customers will be, and they'll be sharing that information that has huge value. So that's one piece of real-time marketing. I mean, the broader point is that, we have trends, like for some reason today, Jon Stewart may be a very big trend on Twitter, or he may have even extra cultural relevance, or maybe the without shoes phenomena may next week. It's in those moments that for brands to engage and be a part of a consumer's life, they need to capitalize on it and add value to it in those moments. So that's the key thing, and it happens in real time. Another example is, and our own example is during Fashion Week back in February, we launched our Diet Pepsi Skinny can, and we had a blogger basically getting the skinny on Fashion Week everywhere. Hugely valuable to our consumers, immensely interesting. It aligned with the brand position and its role in the fashion world. And it was all real-time, in the moment, blogging and tweeting. And we did a lot on-site as well with aggregating Twitter feeds. But that's all the power of real-time marketing, having resonance when people care. So one challenge, is of course the way, our whole, I'd say, marketing ecosystem is set up in our relationship with celebrities and intellectual assets and intellectual property is a piece of it. Because arguably Lady Gaga would push back, or Jon Stewart would be like, no, you got to pay me first. However, I believe that's going to change in the future because they want to be in those mass-scale conversations as much themselves. So for today, I think that's one challenge. Another challenge is organizationally, a lot of large organizations are geared for much longer planning cycles. Like we do, scenario planning for 2012, 2013 today. We aren't necessarily organized or think for planning for the next minute. And that's an organizational change issue, I think. Third is, yes, we talk a lot about listening online and social tools and all, but they're still just capturing a fraction of all the conversations. That needs to change. And then the last one I'd say is that distribution, when it comes to the TV world and advertising on TV, has a long way to go before it's real time as well. We were creating a lot of branded content during the Diet Pepsi Skinny launch around Fashion Week. I think it's absolutely important. We are increasingly, as a result, as we've done with the Pepsi Refresh project and with Mountain Dew and Sobe and other brands, developing much stronger, tighter ties with content producers, content creators. Having said that, it doesn't mean we're replacing or displacing media companies. They have some amazing strengths and skills, and it's all about complementing that. Well, we're lucky in that because we're a large organization with really well-known brands, for example, if it's Pepsi or Mountain Dew, we're in something like 90% of households in the country. Our cans increasingly are media itself, whether you have a QR reader or another scanning tool and you scan the logo. So we actually don't have as big a distribution challenge as maybe a smaller brand might. And we're working on building that distribution. Well, a good example is on the Pepsi Refresh Project website. We get more traffic than some sites on which we actually buy advertising. So the model is flipping. I found it really interesting how Laura Desmond mentioned that media mix modeling is broken, which I do agree with. I found it interesting how Rex Briggs talked about a new format for media mix modeling. I liked how Adam Bain touched on that engagement is a far important metric than clicks or click-through rates. I liked the way Brian from BlackBerry was talking about distribution. It aligned very much with my thinking. So I thought there was a lot of great stuff today.